Hey everyone! We are diving headfirst into Singapore, one of the most electrifying city-states on the entire planet. Where glass skyscrapers tower over ancient temples, where street food stalls sit steps away from Michelin-starred restaurants, and where literally every single neighborhood feels like a completely different world. This place is equal parts futuristic and deeply rooted in culture. And honestly, it never gets old. If Singapore isn't already on your travel list, it absolutely needs to be, right now, today, move it to the top. We're covering everything. The iconic landmarks, the coolest neighborhoods, the best local food, hidden gems, and all the tips you need to do this city properly. And hey, if this guide helps you out, smash that thumbs up, drop a comment. It genuinely helps more travelers find this video and keeps me out there, making more guides for you. Now let's get into it. First stop, and honestly one of the greatest outdoor spaces anywhere in the world, Gardens by the Bay. Spanning over 101 hectares right in the heart of the city, this place is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Opened in 2012, it perfectly blends cutting-edge architecture with breathtaking nature, and it remains one of Singapore's most recognizable landmarks, and for very good reason. Inside the gardens, you've got two world-class conservatories that you absolutely cannot skip. The Flower Dome, officially the world's largest glass greenhouse, houses an incredible collection of plants from Mediterranean climates, think ancient olive trees, vibrant tulips, and rotating seasonal floral displays that are genuinely stunning. Then there's the Cloud Forest, a completely different vibe. Cool, misty, atmospheric, with a dramatic 35-meter indoor waterfall cascading down through lush tropical mountain vegetation. It feels like stepping into another dimension. And then, of course, there's the Super Tree Grove, those iconic towering vertical gardens that have become the symbol of modern Singapore. Every night at 7:45 and 8:45, they put on a free light and sound show that is absolutely worth staying for. Free. Incredible. Non-negotiable. Right next door and impossible to miss, Marina Bay Sands. One of the most photographed buildings on Earth, and it fully earns every single shot. Opened in 2010, this architectural icon packs in a luxury hotel, world-class restaurants, designer shopping, a casino, and the legendary Skypark observation deck sitting 200 meters above the ground. The deck stretches dramatically across all three towers, giving you a 360-degree panoramic view of the entire Singapore skyline. It's one of those views that genuinely stops you in your tracks. Tickets run around 32 Singapore dollars for adults in 2025. Absolutely worth every cent for the photos alone. And yes, the rooftop infinity pool is real. It's the largest rooftop pool in the world, and yes, it's hotel guests only, so if that's calling your name, maybe treat yourself to a night. Right next to MBS, the Art Science Museum is also worth a stop for its constantly rotating exhibitions blending art, science, technology, and culture in genuinely creative ways. But before we hit the water, Chinatown. And not the watered-down tourist version. The real, vibrant, historically rich Chinatown that pulses with energy around the clock. This neighborhood has been the cultural heartbeat of Singapore's Chinese community for generations, and today, it's one of the city's most dynamic and photogenic areas. The streets are packed with beautifully preserved shophouses painted in vivid colors, ornate temples filling the air with incense, and markets absolutely overflowing with street food, local crafts, and souvenirs that are actually worth buying. At the center of it all sits the Sri Mariamman Temple, Singapore's oldest Hindu temple, founded all the way back in 1827. This place is a stunning architectural masterpiece and a genuinely moving spiritual space. Entrance is free, respectful dress is required, and it's one of those places that perfectly encapsulates why Singapore's multicultural identity is so special. Now, onto the water, because Singapore's river is not just scenery, it's history. A Singapore river cruise is one of the best ways to see the city and understand how it developed from a 19th century trading hub into one of Asia's most powerful economies. As you glide along the water, you pass landmarks like Marina Bay Sands, the Merlion, Singapore's beloved and iconic half-lion, half-fish statue, and beautifully restored colonial-era buildings that tell the story of the city's transformation. Cruises depart from Clarke Quay, Limau Mei, and tickets cost around 25 Singapore dollars. Relax, scenic, and genuinely informative. It's a great way to recharge between neighborhoods. Speaking of views, the Singapore Flyer. One of the largest observation wheels in the world at 165 meters tall, offering sweeping 360-degree views of the city skyline, Marina Bay, Sentosa Island, and on a clear day, you can actually see neighboring Malaysia and Indonesia. The capsules are massive, climate-controlled, and move at a pace that gives you plenty of time to take everything in without rushing. Pro tip: download the Flyer 360 app before you go. It identifies every landmark you're looking at in real time and makes the experience significantly richer. Book tickets online in advance to skip the queues. Next up, Little India. And if Chinatown is a feast for the eyes, Little India is a full sensory explosion. Vibrant, colorful, loud in the best possible way, and absolutely bursting with life at every hour of the day. This neighborhood has been the heartbeat of Singapore's Indian community for well over a century, and it remains one of the most dynamic and authentic districts in the entire city. The streets are lined with flower garlands, spice shops, textile stores, and restaurants serving some of the best Indian food you will find anywhere outside of India itself. The must-visit landmark here is the Sri Veeramakaliamman Temple, a breathtakingly ornate Hindu temple dedicated to the goddess Kali, with a facade so intricately detailed it looks like it was carved by hand for decades, because it essentially was. Fascinating, vibrant, and completely free to visit. Before we hit Sentosa, make time for the Singapore Botanic Gardens. A lush UNESCO World Heritage listed green space sitting right in the middle of one of the world's most urban cities, and somehow it feels like a completely different world the moment you step inside. Whether you're a dedicated nature lover or just need to decompress between attractions, this place delivers. The crown jewel is the National Orchid Garden, home to over 1,000 species and 2,000 orchid hybrids, including some of the rarest varieties on the planet. The broader gardens feature towering tropical trees, serene lakes, winding walking paths, and wide-open lawns perfect for a picnic. General entry to the Botanic Gardens is completely free. You only pay a small fee for the National Orchid Garden, and it's entirely worth it. Now, Sentosa Island. Just off Singapore's southern coast and connected to the mainland by both a bridge and a cable car, and obviously, you take the cable car. The views are incredible and the ride perfectly sets the tone for what's ahead. Sentosa was actually a British military base right up until 1972 and has since been transformed into Singapore's ultimate playground. We're talking Universal Studios Singapore, one of the top theme parks in Asia, the massive SEA Aquarium, Adventure Cove Water Park, pristine beaches, luxury resorts, rooftop bars with sunset views, and even a luge track. There's also a scenic coastal trail if you want to actually break a sweat. Whether you're traveling solo, with a partner, or with the whole family, Sentosa delivers hard. Plan to spend a full day here. You'll need it. Clarke Quay. And if there's one place in Singapore that genuinely never sleeps, this is it. Situated along the Singapore River, this iconic riverside precinct is lined with converted colonial go-downs, old warehouses, that are now packed wall-to-wall with bars, restaurants, rooftop terraces, and nightclubs. During the day, it's relaxed and perfect for a riverside lunch or a casual wander through the boutique shops. But come evening, Clarke Quay transforms entirely. Neon lights reflect off the river, music spills out of every doorway, and the energy cranks up to a completely different level. It's the beating nightlife heart of Singapore and an absolute must if you're visiting in 2025. History lovers, don't sleep on the National Museum of Singapore. The oldest museum in the country, established in 1886, housed in a stunning colonial building that alone is worth the visit. Inside, the permanent exhibitions take you on a fascinating journey through Singapore's story, from a small fishing settlement to a major global city in just a few generations. Artifacts, photography, multimedia installations. It's brilliantly curated and genuinely engaging. Right nearby, the National Gallery Singapore is equally impressive, housed across two iconic heritage buildings, the former Supreme Court and City Hall, and holding the world's largest public collection of Singaporean and Southeast Asian modern art. Between these two, you've got hours of seriously high-quality culture. And food, because in Singapore, food is culture, full stop. The hawker center scene is legendary, and in 2025, It's UNESCO recognized as an intangible cultural heritage. Lau Pa Sat in the financial district is one of the most famous, a stunning Victorian cast iron structure from the 1800s that comes alive every evening when Satay Street kicks off outside. Vendors line the street firing up charcoal grills, skewering chicken, beef, mutton, and prawns, and the smoke and the smell and the atmosphere is just electric. Grab a table, order a cold tiger beer, and eat everything in front of you. That is the Singapore experience. Shopping in Singapore is genuinely world-class. Orchard Road remains the undisputed king. A 2-kilometer stretch of back-to-back malls, flagship stores, luxury boutiques, and department stores. In 2025, it continues to reinvent itself with more experiential retail and dining concepts alongside the big-name brands. But if you want more personality and better prices, head to Bugis Street for affordable fashion, accessories, and street food in a buzzing atmosphere, or duck into Haji Lane for something completely different. A narrow, Instagram-famous alley packed with colorful street murals, independent fashion boutiques, specialty coffee shops, and the kind of bohemian energy you can't manufacture. One of the coolest streets in all of Asia, genuinely. And before we wrap, Fort Canning Park. Sitting right in the middle of the city, this elevated green space carries over 700 years of history within its boundaries. Once called Forbidden Hill, and home to Malay royalty in the 14th century, later a British military command center, and today a beautifully maintained urban park with archaeological excavation sites, heritage gardens, an outdoor amphitheater, and sweeping views of the downtown skyline. It's peaceful, it's fascinating, and it's the kind of place that reminds you just how many layers this city has beneath its ultra-modern surface. Getting here and getting around, Singapore is served by Changi International Airport, consistently ranked the best airport in the world, and located about 20 kilometers from the city center. The MRT, Mass Rapid Transit, connects the airport directly to the city in 30 to 40 minutes and costs just a couple of dollars. Fast, clean, air-conditioned, completely reliable. Grab an EZ-Link card or use your contactless bank card on arrival and you're set for the whole trip. Taxis and Grab, Southeast Asia's Uber, are also widely available and affordable by Western standards. Best time to visit? February through April is your sweet spot. It's the driest period of the year, temperatures hover around 30 degrees, and the skies are reliably clear for sightseeing and outdoor activities. Singapore runs events and festivals year-round though, so honestly, whenever you go, there will be something worth catching. Singapore is one of those cities that gets better every single time you visit. It surprises you, it impresses you, it feeds you extraordinarily well, and it leaves you planning your next trip before you've even left. If you enjoyed this guide, please hit that thumbs up. It makes a massive difference and helps other travelers find this content. Subscribe if you haven't already, it's completely free and there are plenty more travel guides coming your way.